Announcements, August 30th, in-service day number 2, no students. September 2nd is Labor Day, no school. September 5th, board meeting right here in the Catherine D. Milligan Community Room. Now we will move on to board member comments. Mr. Napier.
Yeah, it's, sounds like we used our COVID money very wisely, so I want to thank Nancy and Mandy for all they did with that. It was a nice little chunk of change.
Thank you. Mrs. Gundry.
I also wanted to thank Mrs. Lane and Mrs. Ogg for managing the funds so well. You hear horror stories about what has gone on at other places, and I'm glad that it's been managed well here, and that we can trust you all to manage it well. And excited about the start of the best school year ever. It sounds like opening day went great, and I hope everyone's off to a good start.
Great, thank you, Mrs. Gundry. Mrs. Birding Miller.
It's going to sound like a broken record, but I also want to thank Ms. Ogg and Ms. Lane for your report on how impactful we use those funds and exactly where those funds were going, and then what's going to happen now that those funds are spent. And then thank you guys for just being diligent and mindful with those funds and also spending them in a timely manner so that we don't have to drag this out and get the extension with the additional stipulations and stuff like that. So, I just want to thank you for being timely about that. And then, Mr. Perry, I want to thank you for, always continue to work on updating our facilities and keeping them safe for our students. And even though we've come across this roadblock, you're still mindful and cognizant of how that impacts the funds and trying to do cost saving measures by doing it all at once. So although it's going to cost us more money now, it saves us 2 cents later, so I want to appreciate you and thank you for your cost saving measures and being diligent and mindful with our facilities. And I'm also excited about the best school year ever, and I hope that everybody has a great start to their year and continue to do so. And only a couple more days until your next in-service day, and then you're off again.
That's right. Very well put, fellow board members. Did an amazing job, Mrs. Lane, Mrs. Ogg, others involved in the ARP funds and the ESSER funds and all that we had. I think we did put it to its best use, right? To closing that learning gap toward our students, right? Like everything, it's student-focused first and foremost. Welcome back, students, right? We had an amazing back-to-school bash, as successful as ever, and as well attended as ever, right? With students showing up. I got several different times, but at 6-something in the morning for a 9 a.m. start to receive school supplies. So there is a need in this community, and thank you to the community for meeting that need. We look forward to an amazing school year, as the others have said, and wish everyone well. Now we will recess to executive session to discuss the appointment, employment, and discipline of public employees, 121.22G1, court action, revised code 121.22G3, and pending or imminent litigation. Do I have a motion to convene to executive session?
I make a motion.
Second.
Mr. Napier, Mrs. Birding Miller, Mrs. Lane, please call the roll.
Mr. Napier?
Yes.
Mrs. Birding Miller?
Yes.
Mrs. Gundrum?
Yes.
Mr. Begley?
Yes. We will convene to executive session at 7:03.